Hello, Heron Michelle here from the Sojourner Whole Earth Provisions in Greenville, North Carolina. Also author of the book Elemental Witchcraft, A Guide to Living a Magical Life Through the Elements. Here with another video to show how I'm preparing my Lunar Pairing magic candles. 6 of them for the year, 6 candles to represent the moons that occur in 12 different zodiac signs. But because those signs are paired across the wheel of the year, always by modalities, and the modality is either going to be a fixed, a cardinal, a fixed, or a mutable sign, and both will be consistent in the pairings. You may have seen my previous video where we did the Libra and Aries lunar pairing. Both of those were the cardinal signs which began the seasons. Today the moon and the sun are in Virgo, and if you're an astute witch, you know that means that we are very close to the dark moon because both the moon and the sun were conjunct in Virgo. However, we've now passed the full ebb of the dark moon and we're back to waxing again. So it's another good day to build things, to make and create in this earthy sign of Virgo. So let's just do a real quick rundown of what you see in the picture that I drew for my candle wrap, which I have made into a sticker. What each of these shows is the 2 different moons on each half of the sticker has one of these time periods. When we have the mutable winter sign of Pisces, Pisces is around February 21st to March 21st. During the time that the sun is in Pisces, there will be a lunation where we have both a full moon and a dark moon to celebrate. When the full moon occurs, well, the sun is in Pisces. We call that the storm moon. A lot of storms in March that bring, March showers actually bring April flowers around here. So this storm moon, Virgo, is because the moon is on the opposite side of the earth. And that's why we can see the entire disk. If it's on the opposite side of the earth from the sun, that means that it's in opposition, and it will appear in the opposite sign across the wheel of the year. During that same lunation, we will celebrate a dark moon. There will be a time when the moon is conjunct the sun in the same side. That is to say that it is between the sun and the earth, and therefore we're just looking at its dark side. When the moon is dark, it sets at dusk, which is to say that we don't see it in the night sky at all. And so but it does occur in the same sign, so there'll be a dark moon in Pisces. On this image, I tried to show the creatures of each sign, that we have the twin fish of Pisces. In modern astrology, it is ruled by Neptune. In classical astrology, it was ruled by Jupiter. The auspicious timing for this crafting is the Thursday, which is the day of Jupiter. Great for growth and expansion projects of all kinds, abundance, luck, wealth, health. I also show the daffodils, a spring bulb flower, in the relationship to the rain. We have a bud and how the rain is cleansing away all the dirt, all the grime that sort of collects during the winter, gives us that clean, fresh feeling, also nurtures those buds so that they flower. Then on the flip side of the year, we can celebrate this same lunar pairing when we're at mutable summer, where we are right this minute in Virgo. So the sun is passing through Virgo. There will be a full moon that we call the harvest moon. The harvest moon definitely corresponds to that end of summer where we're bringing in all the bounty of the garden. Sometimes it's the final bounty, depending upon your location on Earth. We call it the harvest moon because we're harvesting, and it's in Pisces. That same time period, we'll have a dark moon in Virgo because it's conjunct the sun. That's the day that we had yesterday. But I've just passed the peak, so now I'm into the waxing moon sign again. So we get to really integrate and incorporate this Virgo energy into the candles today, especially. In this lower panel, I put the maiden. The Virgo has always been symbolized by the innocent, young, full of potential young maiden. Virgin, sometimes they call her. But that doesn't have anything to do with her sexuality. It means that she's just not born a child yet. She's still before that, ruled by Mercury. And that's an interesting thing, isn't it? Virgo ruled by Mercury, Mercury being very airy planet, very airy god, associated so often with air elemental energies. In this case, it is the ruler of Virgo, so it's a little air-earth blend. Also in this imagery, I've included some morning glories that's associated with Virgo. So she's wearing morning glories in her hair, the alchemical symbol for earth. In the top panel where I show the relationship between the elements, and this on this side in the harvest, I show the grapes, like grape harvesting, but also how we then squeeze the waters out of the grape, make grape juice, and then vent that into wine, the spirits of wine that we can then drink and nourish both our bodies and our souls. So, hail Dionysus. So in this case, I'm showing how that water comes back through the bounty of what was sparked and grown back in the spring, and we're bringing that into fruition. So mutable is about the close of the season. It's about the closing of the cycle, the transformation, the transmutation into the next one, but also of integration, where we fully integrate the lessons of that season and of that sign. So we're really integrating this. In this case, where the flowers are integrating the water, and in this case, the earth, which is our bodies, are reintegrating the water back out of that earthy grape. So, huzzah. This is just my artwork. You could draw your own, apply it to your own candle. But here's how they work on mine. Basically, the idea is that when you're celebrating the moons while the sun is in Pisces, you can just turn your candle to face you that way on the altar. When you get to the flip side of the year, the dark side of the year, and you're now celebrating the moons while the sun crosses through Virgo, you can just turn your candle around and you'll have all the occult imagery and symbols that will bring that charge to the magic of the day. The other good thing about this is that the things that I would use to load and charge this candle for Pisces or Virgo are the same, because if I want to celebrate both moons, I will have a blend of those energies on both sides, and they enforce each other. They balance each other. It's a way of reconciling the paradox that's created by that axis across the wheel of the year. And in this case, we've got that axis between the feeling body, the heart, and the intuition and all that of Pisces, with the organization and the structure that is brought to us by Virgo. I often think of that as the relationship between the chalice itself, the cup, and the waters that hold it, that provide those boundaries for it. It gives it structure and meaning, form. Well, I'm going to show you how I load my candle. And then I'm going to load all the ones that we're going to have available for sale at the store. What I use are my formulary blends created from the recipes in my book, Elemental Witchcraft, for each of the elements, because those will, be a nice blend of the things that would be found in a correspondence list for each of those signs. Other things we have going on, I'm going to include amethyst for my Pisces stone. I'm going to include emerald for my Virgo earthy stone. I've also got a moon oil that I've already blended, that it was created on a full moon in Scorpio. It's another water sign. So I've got an oil that's also been charging up with some rainbow moonstone. For the moon associations, I'm going to include some more rainbow moonstone there. I'm also going to use this handy dandy ingredient from Watkins, Assorted Food Coloring, no artificial dyes. It's a natural food safe dye for baking and things, or coloring Astara eggs, or however. So if you don't want to put an artificial ingredient into your magic, as I don't really like to do that. These are vegetable based, which is awesome. So we have a blue and a green. Those don't really change the color of the wax entirely, but they do swirl around in the wax, remaining sort of separate. It creates a very cool visual effect in the wax, especially if you like doing some wax scrying while you meditate. That's helpful. I've also got previously prepared earth oil and water oil, as well as my water incense and earth incense. All of these recipes are in my book, and they were created at auspicious times that were appropriate for those blends. When you do magic by auspicious times, they encapsulate the energies of the moment, like their own little birth chart in those blends. And then regardless of where the sun or moon or anything else is at the time that you need to do magic, you can add those. You could either burn the incense or add it to another magical creation, or you can anoint your candle with your oil. And then by law of contagion, all of the energies of the moment that was encapsulated in that blend when it was born, so to speak, then get transferred to your magical object. Some of the things that we're working with today. This is in my water incense. We've got some white willow bark and benzoin, myrrh resin, also great for lunar work. Chamomile, jasmine, thyme, eucalyptus, lemon peel, etc. Also associates with the moon. From our earth blend created with my book's exercises, I had some elm and pine wood, copal resin base, accents of patchouli, cedar, pine needle, and vervain. I've also over time added a little amber powder, jasmine. There's emerald in there as well. All good stuff in there. So we've got lots to choose from here. You can create your own blends if you want to load a candle and just go find a single note. I like to include something from the plant and the stone realm. The animal realm, I usually say plant, stone, and bone. The imagery of the animals is here. In this case, it's a young maiden, I guess a human animal. And in this case, and in Pisces, we have the fish. So I am including some of that energy there in that symbolism. So how do I load a candle? Start with just a plain white candle. White's a nice all-purpose color. It's very much associated with the moon. And my intention here is lunar work. I made my artwork into a sticker. It happens to be a translucent sticker that allows the light of the candle to pass through and make a nice lampshade effect. See, it's kind of see-through. It's also a sort of vinyl-y material that makes it repositionable. You could pull it off and reuse it later in other places if you need to, or you could just reuse your candle somehow. The next thing I do is I find the seam on my candle. It's easy to find by touch first. And all of these glass sanctuary candles, a typical 7-day sanctuary candle. This is a 2 1/4 inch diameter by 8 inches tall sanctuary candle. This is paraffin wax. I don't normally love paraffin. I will often buy one, use the wax once, and then I will replace it using beeswax inserts. That's what these candles here are. But for the time being and for the sale of these, beeswax is incredibly expensive, and I wanted to make these reasonably affordable, at least for the first try. And then after you have your jar, you can replace it with beeswax and reload it yourself later on. Like I've shown in other videos, I like to bore out 3 holes. 3 is a lunar number. Once I bore those out with a flathead screwdriver, or if you're into power tools, and I am, this is my favorite witchcraft tool. It is an electric screwdriver, and I've just got a really nice big fat bit on there. But you also need a little vessel, because we're going to dump out the shreds and keep them and add them back in later. All you have to do, pick a spot. I'm going to pick one over the word Pisces for my water. I learned this candle loading technique from a marvelous occultist, magical practitioner named Matthew Venus when I went to the Temple of Witchcraft's Templefest in 2015 or 14, I think. It's great for fire safety. If you embed the ingredients below the wax line, you won't accidentally ignite the other flammable ingredients when you light your candle. Easy enough. Let's do our Pisces side first. Little bit of the incense. My watery incense. Welcome to the party, watery incense. This has got all kinds of great stuff in it. Aquamarine's been charging it up. Yummy stuff. I'm going to give it a stir. Wake it up. Wake up, wake up. And it does not take much. But I'm going to get it down in that little hole. There we go. Thank you, plant friends. Now I'm going to add my amethyst chip. I like using these little chips. Also, sometimes I'll get the dust. There's some that have been made into like crystal sand. Wee little amethyst chip. Doesn't take much. Magical ingredient, chopstick. Poking that in there a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to add 3 drops of my oil. We'll swirl it clockwise. Wake up, wake up. Remember your wateriness and bring that to the party. 1, 2, 3 drops of water oil. And now for the fun color associations, blue food dye, but not artificial ingredients, all vegetable based. 1, 2, 3 drops of blue down in that hole. There we go, welcome water. Now for the earthy, we're gonna put that down here in the Virgo hole. Now for the incense, earth incense. Give it a good stir, wake it up. Good morning. Waken, waken, waken to your earthiness. All your good stuff. I smell you. Okay. Grab a nice chunk in my Virgo earthy hole. Okay. A little bit more maybe. Remember, law of contagion means that even 1 drop of water added to a whole swimming pool, 1 drop of charged water added to a whole swimming pool, would bless the entire swimming pool. So you don't have to put much. Don't waste your precious ingredients. Okay, now I'm going to add an emerald. Nice dark green one. Poke that in there. Okay. Boop. Now I'm going to add my earth oil. Wakey, wakey. I love to smell everything as I go because it awakens the memories within me. 1, 2, 3 drops of the earth oil and 3 drops of the green dye. 1, 2, 3. Excellent. Welcome Earth, welcome Virgo, welcome to the party. Now for the moon hole, I'm going to add a rainbow moonstone chip and 3 drops of my full moon charged oil. 1, 2, 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Very lunar. I celebrate the moon in 9 phases. 9 is the magic number for that. Now that I have everything in there, I'm just going to do a little bit of tidying. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I like to get most of it down in the little holes. And now that I've got everything down below the wax line best I can, I'm going to add back my little wax shards. There's no reason to waste these. Definitely want that. Looks a little bit like shredded coconut on the top until you light it. I'm just going to jab that down there a little bit. Make it pretty. The first time you light your candle, you want to make sure to leave it lit for at least an hour. This counts for all glass sanctuary candles, all glass candles everywhere. You want to leave it burning as long as it takes for all the wax to melt all the way across the top of the candle and be completely liquid to the edge of the glass. That will keep it from tunneling. Which is, where it just burns down the middle and leaves wax on the edge, and that's kind of a waste. So you definitely want to let it burn the whole way. Plus, also, I recommend meditating with it as you celebrate that lunation. Whatever you may be doing that at that time, meditate with it, stay with it throughout the ritual, glance at it, and allow those energies and the smells to sort of enter into your energy body and really absorb that and attune to it. You'll start to see as the wax melts that the little bits of vegetable dye start to swirl around and show their presence, and you begin to see the stones reveal themselves. It's very cool. Last thing you want to do before you light your candle is trim the wick. You see this giant wick? You want that to be, I don't know, quarter, half an inch. It doesn't need to be that tall. You don't need that big a flame. It's just part of candle safety, but also it keeps the smoke from being really super smoky in your space. This candle is now loaded. The charge transmitted from these ingredients. So I could just be done. But I do love to go ahead and charge a candle to its combined purpose after it has been loaded. I like to use a charm of making, but I'm first going to create the rest of the candles that we'll have for sale at the Sojo so that they're all born at the same time and charged at the same time like members of a team. So I'll do that first, and then we'll be back to charge it. I like to charge these candles with a charm of making. I begin by grounding and centering and tapping into all the powers that be. I remember myself like the Axis Mundi tree, connected in all the realms, connected to water and earth through my roots below. And I see myself connecting to that bedrock and connecting to that water table, drawing up those elemental energies as I've studied and practiced and communed with them before. And I remember how these elements interact in the world, and I think about the image of the rain upon the daffodils and the juice of the grapes coming back to us at harvest time as juice and as wine. I think about all of these things, and I channel that energy up through my roots and down from my branches and from my imagination and down through my hands. And I see all that power going into the candles. So here we go. Sun in Pisces, Jupiter bestows mutable close to winter's repose. Dark Pisces moon, full Virgo storm, dreaming waters take structures form. Sun in Virgo, Mercury reigns, mutable gift of summer's gains. Full Pisces harvest, dark Virgo moon, compassion's fruits shared as a boon. Sun in Pisces, Jupiter bestows mutable close to winter's repose. Dark Pisces moon, full Virgo storm, dreaming waters take structures form. Sun in Virgo, Mercury reigns, mutable gift of summer's gains. Full Pisces harvest, dark Virgo moon, compassion's fruits shared as a boon. Sun in Pisces, Jupiter bestows mutable close to winter's repose. Dark Pisces moon, full Virgo storm, dreaming waters take structures form. Sun in Virgo, Mercury reigns, mutable gift of summer's gains. Full Pisces harvest, dark Virgo moon, compassion's fruits.